Okay, this is my DVD review of PWG Sells Out. Now, PWG Sells Out has been out for a while. I actually picked this up in the summer of 2008. But, no, I watched some of these matches again, and I just realized this is a really phenomenal compilation, Jack. You really get your money's worth here. Yeah, like, if you want to pick up, like, a DVD where you can get the most bang for your buck, this is, like, a perfect example of it. And it features a lot of like independent talent. A lot of ROH talent is on these matches. So, if you're an independent wrestling fan, you probably like this. The one downfall of the DVD is for a lot of these matches, the crowd is just really laid back for a lot of these matches. So, they're a California crowd. So, they're really like, you don't really get the intensity and the big match feel for some of these matches that you probably should have gotten. So. But let me just break it down, just to be a quick review. Let me just go through all the matches. First match, you get Bryan Danielson versus Samoa Joe from the musical. This is from April of 2004. This is okay. I've seen Joe and Danielson work a lot better than this, but it was pretty decent stuff. I think their best match was at Midnight Express Reunion that's an ROH show from 2004. But this is like a 3.5-star match. Okay, next up we get the reason for the season. July 2004 PWG title, Adam Pearce versus Frankie Kazarian. I really wasn't feeling this, to tell you the truth. I'm not really a big fan of Adam Pearce. This is pretty brutal. This featured like a ton of pile drivers. So Kazarian looked okay though. I mean, I don't know. This is okay. Not great, but if you're into like this was a steel cage match. So if you're into steel cage matches, maybe you'll like this. Next up, we get CM Punk versus Super Dragon from the same show, Reason for the Season. Not very good. I thought this went too long. It was too slow, too methodical. I get the feeling that they just threw this match on here so they could say they had a CM Punk match on the show. So definitely one of the worst matches on the DVD, actually. So next up, we get AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe from All-Star Weekend Night 1, April of 2005. Excellent match. Joe and AJ just have amazing chemistry, and it really showed here. I thought this was actually better than any match they had in ROH, but it's not. For as good as it wasn't as good as any of their TNA matches. But so next up we had from Guitarmageddon from June 2005, AJ Styles defending the PWG title, I believe, against James Gibson. This was just too short. It was good while it lasted, but way too short. Next up, we get Christopher Daniels versus Jack Evans from Free Admission from November of 2004. Decent match. Really didn't go too long. Danielson and Evans did some high-flying stuff. It was like the best moonsault ever versus Jack's triple moonsaults. So, I mean, it was pretty high-flying for a Daniels match. So next up, disc 1 was by far the worst disc out of all three of the discs. So this 2, we get second anniversary weekend night 1. We get titles versus mass match for the tag team titles. It was Chris Bosh and Scott Lost versus the Aerial Express. I kind of had trouble getting into this match. It was slow at the beginning, but eventually it picked up. There were some really nice tag team maneuvers and tag team combinations. So this is pretty good. This is a good example of PWG homegrown talent. Probably the best example of it are the matches from Disc 2. So next up we get the PWG Battle Los Angeles 2005. All the guys that lost from the tournament were in like a tag match. We get El Generico, Jack Evans, Frankie Kazarian, and Super Dragon versus Scott Lost. Ricky Reyes, Davey Richards, and Joey Ryan. I mean, this is a pretty good tag match. You get a lot of great stuff in it. So next up, we get Super Dragon versus Mr. Wrestling, Kevin Steen, from Astonishing Xmas of December of 2005. Probably most people say this is the best match on the DVD. This is one of the most brutal hardcore matches I've seen. Maybe if it had a better crowd and better production values, this could have been maybe a 5-star match. I mean, a lot of people say this is PWG's greatest match, so I don't know. This really isn't my kind of style, but I could see why people are crazy about it, and it was pretty brutal. So next up, we get from the Hollywood Globetrotters show. We get from March of 2006. We get Super Dragon and Davey Richards versus Jack Evans and Roderick Strong. Really don't remember much about it. Pretty decent tag match. Super Dragon was really over in PWG. Just solid stuff as you would expect. Davey Richards actually looked a lot more puffier back then. So yeah. So next up we get from Tremendous. This is the 3rd year anniversary of PWG from July 2006. PWG Steel Cage match for the title. Joey Ryan defending his title against B-Boy. This is phenomenal. This is great stuff. Great hardcore steel cage match. Just very dramatic. A lot of epic spots. There was a lot of table spots. A lot of just hardcore spots. There was interference. The interference actually worked though, because guys like Human Tornado came out and pulled off even more high spots, so it made the match even better. So just a high flying hardcore match. It's a great steel cage match. Probably the best Joey Ryan match I've seen. So next we get SEMA versus El Generico. The Battle Los Angeles 2006 was the Battle Los Angeles 2006 Night 3. I think this is a semi-final match. This is an excellent match. SEMA, he's from Dragon Gate, the leader from Dragon Gate. I thought him and Generico worked an excellent match here. So next up we get All-Star Weekend 4 Night 2. El Generico versus Pac. This was sick. Pac, he's from the UK. He's a very high flying guy. He does a lot of sick maneuvers. This just flowed beautifully. There was no botches that I remember. Just two made a great combination. Excellent match. Disc 2 really blew my mind. I thought it was great. Disc 3, I think it got even better though. Next up we get Joey Ryan versus Human Tornado. This went way too long. This went almost 40 minutes. But there's a lot of great stuff in it. Human Tornado actually did a Canadian Destroyer to Joey Ryan through a table. That was sick. They brought out barbed wire, barbed wire cardboards and a whole bunch of stuff like that. So this is this was a pretty dramatic match. Human Tornado actually won the PWG title here, I believe. Next we get Holy Driver Down, Pac versus Kevin Steen. Another excellent match. Pac and Kevin Steen had a lot of chemistry. Pac is in a lot of these matches, so Pac really one of the guys that PWG actually got behind, and he really stepped up to the plate and showed what he had here. And he had another great match next up against Kaz Hayashi. All-Star Weekend 5 Night 2. This wasn't as good as the Steen match or the Generico match, but it was pretty decent. Hayashi, we've seen Kaz Hayashi from All Japan. We've seen him in Ring of Honor. He had a match against AJ Styles, so good match there. Next up we get SEMA versus Bryan Danielson from DDT 4 Night 1. Another excellent SEMA and Danielson just worked an excellent match here. This actually went to a 30-minute time limit, I believe. Both guys left it all in the ring. This is right after Danielson returned from his shoulder surgery. So next up we get Briscoes versus Pac and Roderick Strong. This is from 2007, DDT 4, the finals, actually. So, Briscoes were awesome in 2007, as you know, and then Pac and Strong, I thought they made a great team. This is just an excellent match. Pac and Roderick actually won the tag team titles here and won the DDT 4 tournament. Next up we get Pac and Roderick Strong versus Kevin Steen and El Generico. Just another fun match, just what you would expect. Another excellent match. And then for the PWG title, to close out the matches, we get El Generico versus Bryan Danielson from Giant Size Annual number 4 from July of 2007. Generico and Danielson actually already wrestled before the match, but Danielson challenged Generico for the title. And this is just an excellent, epic match. It featured a lot of drama. These two had a lot of chemistry. Definitely the best match I've seen these two guys have together. And the cattle mutilation at the end, fans were going crazy because they really wanted to see a new champion. And then eventually Generico tapped, and the crowd was going crazy. Danielson won the PWG title. So yeah, definitely check out this compilation. You could get it, and you could get it at FYE. You get it at a lot of retail stores. So check it out, only for $15. There's a ton of great matches on here.